Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Liz. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're enjoying the videos here. I love putting them up. Today's video is entitled, Don't Get Too Excited. Really, don't get too excited. And I'd also say, do your own thinking. Don't let society decide what you think. Mass psychosis, anyone? So here we go. I was just thinking about this the other day because I struggle with this myself at times. Something really good happened today. Someone reached out and helped me in a specific way that was so marvelous. I was so thrilled, and I had to battle getting totally blissed out. And I'm going to explain why that's not a good idea right here and right now. And I had to calm myself and just chill. So I'm going to explain this concept using the work of quantum physicist and metaphysician Vadim Zeland. Vadim Zeland has a number of books out that are very good. I recommend you take a peek at some of his work. Reality Transurfing, Tufti The Priestess, Priestess Itfut, which is a reverse, Transurfing in 78 Days. I've read all of them, and he has quite interesting ways of explaining quantum physics and manifesting. That's very different. It's definitely a new angle from the new thought authors like Neville Goddard and Earl Nightingale, all those guys and some gals, for example. Each of his books, by the way, explain them all very differently with different examples. Like I know in Princess Tufti the Priestess, he talks about the plate and this braid that goes out the back of your hair. I'll explain the plate, which is an archaic word for braid. I'll do another video on that. But he explains things really differently. I do recommend his work. He teaches a concept in reality transurfing that he refers to as pendulums. And what he means by this is that any existing entity, club, religion, cultural norm, group, political party, anything like BLM or the Q movement, armies, the friends you have drinks with every Thursday, a woman's aquasize club, your local high school, a bank, and even your own belief system or religions can be a paradigm. These paradigms are thought forms, and they grow in energy and power with the more members that it has. The thing about the paradigm is that once it's created, it wants to continue to exist. It becomes its own thought form, becomes its own, some people call it an egregore. So this is interesting because I have I meant to say here, pendulums. There was a nutty guy that his name is Charles Casamano. He's a radionics guy. You can go figure out what radionics is. I'll do a video on that too at some point. We call him Uncle Chucky, but Charles Casamano wrote a book. He has many free PDFs that are really out there and fun to read and lean toward the dark, most definitely. He talks about how you can create your own God as a thought form, but if you create your own God, you have to worship it or it will punish you. And he's very right. If you make a God, you could make up your own God as a thought form. That's an interesting concept, but it's true. It's like these paradigms. If you, they want to continue to exist and they want your energy. The rules that people set up for these paradigms, they enforce. And so if you're a member, you are culturally pushed to obey the rules of whatever club, religion, thought form it is. Again, it could be anything from friends you have drinks with Thursday night to mass people movements like the Bolshevik Revolution. Could be anything. So if you don't follow the rules, you get punished or otherwise ostracized. And it loves energy. The paradigms, these pendulums can be fed by negative energy, negative emotions, pain and suffering and angst and anger and rioting. It could be fed by really good, loving, wonderful, yummy emotions. And pendulums, these thought forms, these egregores can be positive, like, benevolent society, things like that. Like I'm part of a group that, works on healing, cleaning up water systems energetically. This is a good pendulum. They can be negative depending on how you use them. If you're aware that pendulums exist and you can begin thinking about what's going on, what groups are you part of, what belief systems that you have. I'm going to give some examples shortly. If you're aware, you can avoid being harmed by them. You can kind of go, oh, that's interesting. That's funny that I'm thinking that. And, they're thought forms. So Zeland decries these pendulums because even whether they're good or bad by your thoughts, depending how you think about them, they create these thought waves that are invisible, but they're very tangible in terms of how they affect people. Like, again, mass psychosis, anyone? Like I said, the more members, the stronger it is. It needs to get energy. Pendulums suck your energy, the good and bad emotion. They're like the ultimate energy vampires. And pendulums can begin to control you if you're not aware. And this way you don't end up not thinking for yourself. You just follow mass consciousness. And most people, I would say probably 97, 98% of the people out there just follow the masses. They just do what everyone does. So I have a couple of reasons for bringing up this topic, because I was reminded from a personal thing today with me. When you're absolutely, positively over the moon and uber excited by something, you're most likely feeding a pendulum, even of your own thoughts or belief systems or cultural norms, like, oh my God. Then what happens is there must be a balance. So an unfortunate situation can come your way. It's the pendulum swinging back the other way. So I kind of laughingly say, don't get too excited. Let me give you some examples. Let's say there's a cultural norm that people, women, especially of a certain age, want to be married. They want to start the family. They want the white picket fence, and people get pressured to get married because, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and some family member goes, when are you getting married? Have you got a ring yet? You're not engaged unless you got a ring. All that stuff you've been through before, perhaps. So let's say you're sitting at a park and you see someone propose to someone, and you go, and you start to feel triggered, like, oh, they're getting married. That's so sweet. He proposed to her. Oh my gosh. And then you start to feel loss of sense of like, well, I want to be married, right? I want that too. You are in a pendulum because you have this thought. You have to look at yourself like, is that really what I want? Or is this what society is saying I should want? Another example, and these pendulums can be subtle for sure. They're not always like armies and political movements and rioting groups, et cetera, et cetera. Another example is the only way I can make money is to go back to school. I need to go to law school. I need to go to medical school. I need to head a corporation up. I need to be an a-hole. I need to make lots of money. I need to go back to school. Well, you don't, but society kind of says, pushes education, and then we give our money, time, and energy to the academy, right? So that may not be true. And I just invite you to think about, like, are you following cultural norms? Are you following mass psychosis? Are you following just what everybody goes? I'm going to put a link to a really good essay, a blog, not Vadim Zeland, but another guy writing about reality transurfing. I'm going to list his books in the description for you. I have another example that just kind of came to mind. This is just a comedy commercial by Dunkin' Donuts years ago. One of my partners at the time loved Dunkin' Donuts. We couldn't go anywhere without him wanting to get Dunkin'. This is 20 years ago, wanted to get Dunkin' Donuts. He had to go get Dunkin' Donuts before any road trip. And it was just so funny. Like, I can't even stand the smell of Dunkin' Donuts now because I've had that smell so much. I can't go in the way the donuts smell, since they don't bake them there anymore. I can't go in a Dunkin' Donuts. The smell just smells off to me. Anyway, so this commercial came out, which he loved and pointed out to me, which was, you see a company and you see people on a break, and they're oohing and eyeing over this woman's engagement ring. Like, oh my God, he proposed. That's great. Oh my God, look at this ring. It's like 2 carats. Oh wow, woohoo. And you see a woman on the side kind of wishing she'd gotten the ring. And you're seeing this cultural norm of like, wow, yeah, this is what happens. The guy proposes. Why can't a woman propose, right? The guy proposes. She's got the ring. He gets nothing except $7,000 in debt. Nothing against that. I'm just saying it's kind of funny, these cultural norms. Okay. On the other side of the company in this commercial, you see this guy showing a guy going, look at this. Oh my God. And it's a breakfast sandwich. It's a croissant. Yeah. And they've got bacon and eggs and cheese and the cheese is melted and just, oh my God, look, it's dripping grease. And the guys love it. It's this cultural norm. Like, the girl wants the ring. The guy wants the breakfast sandwich. I mean, personally, I'd like the breakfast sandwich. If I got married again, I would just want like a steel, something, what they call it, carbon steel. But anyway, so why do we care about this? Well, first of all, like I said, the pendulums can take your energy if you're not aware. And if you get super uber excited, or by the way, super uber sad, sometimes we can't help that, or we feel like we can't help that. So I'm choosing to talk about it the other way, which is super uber excited. The pendulum can suck your energy, and then you don't even realize you're just following mass consciousness willy-nilly. So, but there's 2 reasons not to get overexcited. Like I said, one is that you feed a pendulum somehow, and it can strike back if it's destructive. It may bring a more negative experience your way. Like, I've gone to great retreats, great spiritual retreats, and come home on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. It just felt terrible because the energy had to balance itself. And that might just be a balancing. It may not even be good or bad. It's just a balancing of energy. It might just be a natural law. Also, the other reason is you train your subconscious to think that miracles are rare. You think that really good events are rare if you get freaked out excited. Okay. So instead, you could say, you could just smile at the great event that happens, the great thing, you get accepted to the school, you get this, she asks you to marry her, whatever. You can smile, be delighted, be happy, say, oh my gosh, this is great. This is interesting. I love that. You can normalize it, be calm, be chill. I'm not saying don't be happy, but don't have a freak out happy. Like, oh my God. You can just go, wow, this is great. This is awesome. Be calm, be chill. You don't want to fight a pendulum. You don't want to get a pendulum too excited. You want to give it energy. The way to battle a pendulum, by the way, is to just know it's there, admit it, accept it, and then give it no energy, give it no mind, and just be neutral toward it. And remember, like I said, the more excited you are, you're teaching the subconscious to think that really happy events are rare. Instead of, you could say things like wonderful things happen to me all the time. I'm always having the best day ever. I'm the luckiest person. Reality is rigged in my favor. So of course, everything always happens for me. This is no surprise. I see miracles every day. I have miracles all the time. I always have the best day ever. Like I said, you don't want to tell your subconscious that this thrill is a freak thing and way out of the ordinary. So next time you go to your family of origin, they say, how's your love life? And you think, because they think that your relationship should be a certain way. You can aim for neutral, right? Because they're unconsciously following mass consciousness thinking, like, oh, every male-female relationship should go a certain way, or just basically love relationships. Sorry, whatever, however you're attracted, any love relationship should go a certain way. Or, hey, you guys gonna have kids? Or don't you just hate such and such politician, business leader? You can be led down a road if you don't do your own thinking. You can just don't get too excited, think for yourself, chill, and know that way cool miracles happen all the time. So I have 4 slots left for some powerful coaching for 6 months if you're interested. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos.